Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Inshallah, today I wanted to discuss the importance of Tawheed, especially as the kids are going back to school. And working with the youth, you come to realize that sometimes if you look at it as a pyramid, sometimes you try to work on their character, but the foundation is not there. So we're gonna just try to keep it brief, but one of the most powerful passages in the Quran is the discussion between Luqman alayhi salam and his son. And this is where you can really tell the education, because there's a lot of discussion on back to school and how do you talk to your kids, what are you supposed to do. It's actually works both ways, right? So the kids are not just gonna be able to completely be successful in a full way. They might do really well in their school, but that's not enough, right? Because as a Muslim, if they lose their tawheed in the process, they didn't gain anything. So who plays a big role in that is obviously the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also the parents. And here you have a parent and child relationship, and there's many stories in the Quran where you see a father talking to his son, Ibrahim talking to Ismail, and Musa alayhi salam, there's no discussion there, but other stories as well. But this one particularly is a really good way to analyze how to talk to our children and build a pyramid foundation where the foundation starts with Tawheed, and then it goes to a point where they're able to make their own decisions, even if we as parents are telling them something wrong to do, because the foundation is strong. At the second level, they're able to make their own decisions, which are the right decisions, whether it's peer pressure or other people are pressuring them. And at the third level, you have to have action. You can't just have faith. Well, our faith is, when we have to clarify it, because for many people it's just, even Islam is sometimes translated as believe in Allah, but it's believe and action. So at the third level of the pyramid is action. At the fourth level is patience. You cannot do this without patience, and that's why Surah Al-Asr is a great way to recognize what are the four components for salvation. And in Surah Al-Asr, it mentions sabr. And the fifth area of the pyramid would be the character. So if anyone wants to remind me what it was. So at the foundation is what? Tawheed. The level up would be their self-identity, their ability to make the right decisions, because the foundation is strong, and sometimes even going against their parents, to be honest, but in a respectful way. And even that's covered in this beautiful passage. Third level would be action. So salah is, you have to pray, you have to give zakah, you have to fast. Because why? Because foundation was tawheed, and they know why they're doing it. And our faith is action based. You can't just say I believe and then not do any action, including amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy al munkar. Sometimes action is only limited to prayer, but we fail to recognize that it's obligatory on every Muslim to, in their capacity, spread the message of Islam and to forbid evil. So if they're not doing that in their schools, there's something missing. We have to get them ready for that, where it's not just about stay away from haram, but you have to speak against haram, speak against injustice. If there's bullying, you have to be able to speak against that. That's part of Islam. It's not just you pray and you give zakat and fast and come to the masjid. And the fifth level is your character, right? So this is all encompassed in this passage of Luqman alayhi salam. Obviously, we won't be able to go through all of that. It's a whole Jummah khutbah on its own. But I'll just start with first ayah, and you can see how Luqman is speaking to his son. Just let's pick up on that portion of it. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه. So now the parents. حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير وإن جاهدك meaning do struggle in the path of Allah. وإن جاهدك على أن تشرك بما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا واتبع سبيل من أناب إلي ثم إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. So, oh my dear son, right there, a lot of us make a mistake. We come down at the kids. I'm including myself in it. Sometimes in anger, sometimes we're disappointed. But the way he's speaking to his son is, Ya bunayya. oh my dear son, I love you. So you have to understand the emotion going on. I love you, I would really care for you, I want to tell you something, right? So he speaks in a way, in that manner. Oh my son, do not associate anything with Allah. So immediately negation. So when we say the kalama la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, there's negation and affirmation. Negation to anything associated with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then affirmation that only Allah is the one that deserves to be worshipped. So he immediately goes to the concept of tawheed and tells him to not commit shirk. Inna shirka la dhulmun azim. Before any other injustice, the greatest injustice is the injustice of shirk. So stay away from that. Because every evil that comes after, drinking, killing, whatever you name it, the crux of it is shirk. Because when shirk happens, then people disassociate from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they can do whatever they want. So two things that the society has done today is either they have reduced Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to just certain attributes that feels good, like love, God is love, God is mercy, God is faith, I love God, but these are great, but they forget that God is Shadidul Iqab, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir, the one who can hold you accountable, the one that can punish, the one that's in control. And hopefully people are feeling the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it doesn't rain. I mean, just as simple as that, subhanAllah, people should start to feel that there is someone who's in control, who's in charge. And this is Allah reminding us, but only the believer benefits, while the disbeliever still doesn't see a clear sign of Allah that there is someone in control. And to eliminate shirk means that we have to understand Tawheed, and Tawheed is different aspects. Tawheed is not just recognizing that Allah is one, but also that we need to submit to Him. Right? Submission is a big aspect of it that a lot of times is not promoted to the youth, and a lot of times the focus is be successful, pray, go to school, get good grades. We already know, you guys have already heard that. I'm not doing a guilt trip here, but rarely before starting school we sit down and we say, let's talk about Allah. What do you owe to Allah? If you are successful, it's for your own good, and if it pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you're already successful. And then you make that discussion something that's fruitful for them and get them in part of that conversation. And I'll just end with the next ayah where he says, and we have enjoined upon man ease, care for his parents. So you cannot remove from the foundational level. Allah is reminding us that Allah and the parents are critical. So foundation is Allah, but also don't take the parents out of the picture. So that puts responsibility on us, but also for the youth to remember it's not that you become more practicing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then you start disrespecting your parents. Because we've seen that as well. Some people who do become practicing, the first thing that hits them is arrogance towards the parents, because maybe the parents are not as practicing. And so they become disrespectful, and then it's not a good cycle to start with. So understand, and that's why the ayah later on goes on to say that if they tell you to do something against Allah, then don't obey them, but still respect them and still act kindly towards them. So even if they're disbelievers, you act kindly towards them. So inshallah we'll take more benefits from this, but it just goes on to show how beautifully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a pyramid in our mind. So when we're talking to our children, let's make it something fruitful conversation where Allah is definitely in the picture. We build tawheed in their hearts, and then we talk about their success of this world, which obviously is success of the hereafter as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be successful here and in the next. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين جزاكم الله